Hey IDs, welcome again to IDN 532. It's really great to have you as a part of this course, this summer session, I'm really excited about getting to work on this course. And as you know, this is the first official week of the course. One of the things I really love about getting this thing off on the right foot is having the preview week, because it's a really great way to kind of iron out all the details and kind of smooth out the kinks, which is something that we had to do last week, right? So the schedule, I think, is now in place. And for those of you that aren't aware, I made a mistake in thinking that this was going to be a summer one course when in fact it's not. It's almost like a full summer session course is going to last for 12 weeks. So the actual end date is now going to be August 11th, which is a little bit better than when we started, right? Being a little bit earlier than that. So I think that's good news. And what I did was over the weekend I reconfigured the modules and so forth, so they're now in place. And as you know probably as well, I updated the syllabus so that the dates in there are more accurate. And I think it's going to run better this way, actually. So it's really kind of a blessing in disguise. We had that kind of hiccup thing. This is the first time I've taught this course in the summer, and I'm looking forward to it because, again, as in in a few semesters previous, we got a small population of students in this course, and that's ends up being a good thing because the feedback that I can provide to you is more personal. And actually, last semester I actually experimented with some video feedback, and it seems the students really like that. So I'm planning on continuing to do that with the video feedback and all that sort of stuff. But that's beside the point. I just want to kind of get things rolling. We're talking about Module 1 now, where do we start? Well, why don't we start with the big question? The big question to me when I first started developing this course is, is online learning a sustainable thing? Is it something that's actually going to develop over time? Is it going to become more and more prolific over the course of time? And I don't know. I mean, it seems like it is. It seems like we've had some pretty incremental, steady growth with online learning in a number of different venues, right? In higher ed and in training, even in public schools now, I'm starting to see it show up. So it's good news for this career choice and so forth, and it's looking pretty good. We're going to explore that question. And the big thing we're really going to look at is this efficacy of online learning, right? And how does it compare or measure up to the traditional face-to-face, in-person type of instruction, all right? There's still some schools of thought out there that are thinking that you can't really replace the face-to-face interaction that the student has with an instructor. We'll just weigh that in, and we'll see that. And I'm hoping that you're going to continue to be grappling with this question throughout the course, and hopefully throughout your time in the IDN program, right? Because it's a big thing to be considering. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing for this week with efficacy of online learning. We have a few weeks where we're just going to get ourselves ready to start working on what is the big thing, and that is our final project, or a project piece that we're going to be doing for a majority of this time together. That's going to happen in a few weeks. The first week is going to be efficacy. Next week we're going to be starting to look at the online learner and audience, right? What is it that our audience includes? And that is the adult learner, which is a very important thing, and we'll talk about that more next week. And then the week after that, we're going to look at tools, and then we're going to be ready to get moving on a project. So that's you can look forward to that in the next few weeks. So that's what we're going to be doing. Let me just talk a little bit about the list of things that you're going to be doing this week within the module. There's a couple of things that we're going to be looking at. First thing is we're going to be doing the Who Am I forum, or actually it's going to be a voice thread this time through. It's where we get together and just kind of introduce ourselves to those who don't know each other, and some of you probably do, but it gives you an opportunity just through the voice thread just to introduce yourself and answer a couple of questions so other students can get familiar with it. I'm already in there, as you probably see, and you just respond to mine and just go ahead and add your thing in there. So that's pretty simple stuff. I also have this thing that I do every time through, which is the syllabus quiz. And the reason for that is it's not meant to be something that's rather a waste of time type of thing. It's actually got some purpose in there, because what the questions in there are all dealing with the things that may get overlooked and may be kind of not seen essentially. And I just want to make sure that we do that. These important details are the ones that show up every time, and I want to make sure that we get that in there. So please, if you would, just indulge me with the syllabus quiz. And it's not going to count for anything, but again, I think it's going to make some of the things policy-wise a little bit easier over the course of the time that we are together. Okay, so we're going to do that. We got some reading from the great book from Clark and Mayer. It's on. The book is predominantly deals with multimedia, which is a kind of a secondary type of focus on this course. There's a lot of multimedia focus in here, and that's because multimedia and online learning are going hand in hand more and more as we see over the course of time. Multimedia is evolving as online learning is evolving in concert with one another. So multimedia is important, and that's going to be our go-to text right there, is the Clark and Mayer. So you're going to be reading about that in efficacy of online learning in that context. You're going to look at a little bit of a short lecture, and then what we're going to be doing is engaging in a discussion that has to do with efficacy of online learning. Now, there's another thing too that I want to make sure that you're clear on, and that is after you see the lecture in there, there's going to be a short concept check type quiz in there. It's a Blackboard quiz, and it's called the concept check, and that is actually a formative assessment. You're going to see a number of these over the course of the course, and what it is it's meant to be just a very, very non-confrontational, not necessarily casual, but it's meant to be a low-stakes type of how well are we doing, how well are we getting this material. And it's what we call a formative assessment. We're going to work a lot with that in the last few weeks of the course. The formative assessment, it's going to be one of the things that's going to be required in your final project. And what we need to do is we need to know if the student is with us while we're teaching. I analogize this to taking the pulse in a medical setting or in a healthcare setting, where we take the pulse, we find the heartbeat. How well are they? What are they doing? It's a concept check, right? So you're going to be seeing that. And so that's what those things are. They count for a little bit of your grade, 3% total, I think it is. So it's a low stakes, but yet it is worth something. But the intent is for you to be able to just check in on how well you're doing with the content, how well you're understanding it, and that sort of thing. All right, so that's that. And so that's basically what this week is going to entail. And I'm really glad that we're going to be along this journey together in this particular summer sessions form of this course. And if you have any questions, we have our we have a protocol really. I have a special protocol on my answering of questions and so forth. There's two ways that you can do it. One is the Q&A forum, which you're going to see in Blackboard. It's the first forum you'll see when you go into the discussion area. Okay, and that area is for you to be able to ask any questions of your classmates or of me, but it's an open question that anybody can potentially answer. And so you use that as a first point of contact if you have a question. And it's one of those ones that is a reasonably public question, right? And so that's that. The second thing is goes to email, and the email is one that I try to limit that to ones that deal with a personal nature or something that has to do with things that that only you and I can answer together. It kind of ends up making things a little more efficient, where you get your questions answered more quickly, and I don't have an inbox that has a number of duplicate questions in it. It's just meant for the efficiency side of it, and it works very well, I've found, over the course of the time that we were doing this. So that's the thing. So any questions that you may have, it's a Q&A forum, and then of course the discussion if it doesn't work, and if it's a question that's appropriate for that. So I hope you have a really, really great week, and welcome to IDN 532. We'll see you later.